whenever I start an artistic project, whatever it may be, and this is also the quintessence of why I became an artist or an actress, is I follow the fire in my belly, the enthusiasm.
Okay. Yeah.
It's something that I feel that this enthusiasm or this fire in my belly leads me, and I find great resource in this enthusiasm. And it's also this enthusiasm also gives me a sense of safety.
Hi, Maria. It's so lovely to meet you here on Zoom.
Hi, Petra. Thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. I feel very honored.
Oh, that's a great pleasure. And well, we've seen each other or met each other on Instagram, and I've been following you for a while. You're an actress, a stage actress, and
yeah, so I am a theater actress, as you would say, and also a film and television actress. But lately I have also started to dab a little bit into the other side of things. So I have just directed a theater play, which had the last performance on Saturday. Yes.
Oh, so, wow.
Yes. I really enjoy directing. I love to work with actors and get out of them what I learned at drama school and what directors try to get out of me. So yeah, it's very, very interesting, different field.
Yeah. And is it because if you were trained as an actress, and then how does it feel to be on the other side again? You know, like on the director side?
Yeah, so the responsibility is a much greater one. Because as a director, you kind of also need to step into the shoes of a leader. You know, you have to have the big concept in your head. You need to see the end of the process. You need to be able to have to bring your vision to life. And it also means that you need to open yourself up to so many people and to make them feel comfortable in your presence and comfortable with the way you're working. And that, I always admired directors who were able to, to lead me responsibly. And I want to give that too.
Yeah. You're almost sounding like a conductor. You know, because this is what the conductors also say. You know, it's a similar thing. You have to have that confidence, the leadership, and then bringing it all together.
Yes, that's right. It's this to find the connection between all those pieces. You know, there is the technical department, there are the stage designers, the costume designers, the stylists, the actors, and all of them. And it's you work for so many weeks together, and people will always come to me and ask me, what are we going to do? You know, I have to have answers for everything. It's very difficult often, but one grows with responsibilities. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, but this was actually what I wanted to ask now is, can you see how you evolved from the initial start and to the final, how you as a director also evolved?
You mean with the show itself? Like
the
with
first you for you as a director. I mean, this is, if you say this is the first performance that you directed, or the first theater piece that you directed, can you also see how you've grown in this process as a director?
Yes. Yeah. I'm someone who I reflect a lot. Like, you know, we have a whole day of rehearsals, and then I go home, and then I'm in my head and I'm thinking, what could I have done better? Or did I say the wrong thing here? or so. And after a while, I realized that this doesn't really bring me further. Self-criticism in that way is maybe more of a hindrance. So I think if I was able to, the most important thing that I gained from this process was to share self-criticism and to grow in trust in myself. That's, yeah.
Well, this is something very important, this trust in yourself, because you can only lead if you trust that what you are bringing is working. So how do you get that trust? Because if you're always on the other side, you're always the performer or the actress, and now how do you trust yourself that you do the right thing on the other side again?
Yeah. I was beginning to, whenever I start an artistic project, whatever it may be, and this is also the quintessence of why I became an artist or an actress, is I follow the fire in my belly, the enthusiasm.
Okay. Yeah.
It's something that I feel that this enthusiasm or this fire in my belly leads me, and I find great resource in this enthusiasm. And it's also, this enthusiasm also gives me a sense of safety. I just need to step into this, it's kind of a creative space within myself, which is filled with love and enthusiasm and happiness. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it's even something that I don't create myself. It's just in me somehow, and I trust this, and it's very, very special, and when it happens, it's wonderful.
And that must also be then sort of you give that energy over to whoever you're working with, that they also have then that same feeling.
I hope so. Yes, that's definitely, yes. And it's, I feel it when other people around me have that, how to say, fire about them. And it's inspiring. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely, yeah.
But you're working with a lot of creative people then in that, like you say, you're also working with the lighting and of course, everything, the makeup, the costumes and everything. Do you also find that you bounce off these people, that you find also inspiration from them?
Yes, absolutely. It's the more creative people there are in a room, the more is possible. In the end, art is also created through inspiration and through communication with other people, I think. Yeah, absolutely. And you get inspired by the music person who comes in and found a great piece of music, and she is completely overwhelmed by it, and then it gives me the next idea. Oh, we could put this kind of light there, and the actor could. Yeah, absolutely. It's bouncing off of each other. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Amazing. But Maria, when did you first decide to be an actress? Were you as a little girl? Were you always interested in acting and things like that, in theater?
Well, the first time I mentioned that I wanted to be an actress, I was 11 years old, and I was sitting in class at school, and I said to my friend who was sitting next to me, I said, oh, I think I know what I want to be. I want to be an actress.
Really?
I remember that's the first time that I said it, yes, but I don't know what led me to it. Was it a feeling or something that I don't remember. All I know is I was also very shy as a child. Like up until the age of 18, I was I didn't like giving talks at school and speaking up, or I always had a very quiet voice, and I don't know, I was very shy, and I was, I think I always saw I had a different image of myself. I always saw myself with a loud voice and speaking in front of a lot of people, and that's the image I had of myself. It didn't reflect my reality. But I think becoming an actress, or this wish to be, or this dream of being an actress, it led me to the road to find this vision that I always originally had about myself. Yeah.
But how did you get from that dream to where you went to study? Were your parents then also supportive, or the school? Were there opportunities in school for you?
I had lots of ideas of what, after the final exams, when I was 18 in high school, I then I've been interested in studying medicine or law. I had lots of ideas, and I always had good grades. The teachers always said, "Oh, Maria can do anything."
Really?
But yeah, I had a different. I wanted to be free, and so I traveled the world first. I went to New Zealand for a year after final exams, and there I made the decision to try and get into a drama school back in Vienna, my home. And so, people I told what I wanted to do were like, are you sure it's a hard path? You're never going to get into those schools. You don't have any background, any theater background. Your family are not artists. Why do you? And I said, no, but I will. That's my path. So, and that's how I did entrance exams, and that's how I got into drama school.
Yeah, this is also something that you hear quite a lot. People who think, well, that this is not a career, or how there's no security, and there's so many actresses. How will you ever get to that? But you were determined to do it, and your parents, were they supportive?
They didn't really know what to expect, obviously, because they're both teachers. They didn't know what, of course, my father wanted me to go to university, and just for security reasons. But back then, I didn't think about money at all. I thought I own the world and I'm invincible. I thought, of course, I will make it and earn a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I also always think last about the money. I also think first about what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then from there on, did you have how much from finishing school to get the first part? How difficult was that?
That was a long process. I started at the MUK, Musik und Kunst Privatuniversität der Stadt Wien. So there were a lot of people I did the entrance exam with, like a few hundred, and they only take 15 people. And at the end, I was shocked. Oh my God, they really took me out of so many people. And on top of the world. Then I went for 2 years. I was at that school, and then I wanted to learn to act in English, and that's how I started to apply at British drama schools. And I got into the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, which is, I think, in the world under the top 5 drama schools in the world. So I, like lots of my peers or people who were in classes above me are now famous, and I know them from just walking around with them in the in the breaks, and just having lunch with them, and they're it's crazy. But obviously I have an accent. I went to that school, and I was that I was told that it wouldn't be easy for me in Britain because I am not a native English speaker. My roles would be just confined and limited. And that was okay for me. So there it was really hard after graduation. I moved to London and I worked as an actress there. So as a waitress, I wanted to work as an actress, but I was a waitress, like a lot of other actors do in London. And only once I moved back to Vienna, I applied to theaters, and then I got my first acting job at the Dschungel, Wien, in the 7th district.
Oh, wow. But then this is now, somebody said that you have to be in the right pond, to grow. And you came back to your pond, Vienna.
Yes.
And this is where you grew. Yeah. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I really enjoyed working then again in my mother tongue. I felt there were endless possibilities then to have, a mother tongue grasp of the language that you're working in as an actor, obviously. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I can understand that completely, because for me also, I mean, not even English is my first language, Afrikaans is my first language, but I do find that I can express myself better in Afrikaans, in many ways. And even English is more comfortable for me. But when it comes to German, it's very, very restricted for me to really express myself. So I can understand as an actress that, and there's so much you have to portray, and there's so much that goes into a role, that it has to be important that you are very comfortable in the language.
Yes, exactly. And there is a certain melody to the language, and the text that you're given as an actor has to hit a certain tone. And you have to understand it on a very, very deep level. And I think my English is very good. I know that, but I also feel that I have reached a limit, and where I can only go as far, and that's fine. And so working in German, it hits me much deeper, especially in my home dialect, which is Upper Austrian, which is even deeper than Hochdeutsch, the High German, as they say.
Yeah, because you also have these expressions that you get with the language and that you get with the dialect. You have different expressions, and these expressions are also talking, it also comes from deep, from deep within. There's a reason why there are these expressions. We do have that in Afrikaans as well, where you can definitely, certain areas in the country have a different way of expressing the same thing, but using different words. So I can imagine that also plays a big part. So it's not just the language, but it's that dialect that you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. And it's actually, there was a time, it was a few years ago, where I founded a theater group with my friend who is also from Upper Austria, also an actress. And we committed ourselves to strictly do plays in the Upper Austrian dialect.
Really?
That was our goal. Yes, to bring it to the Viennese stage, And we then didn't follow through, we both did other things, but we still had that group. And lately she came to the premiere of the show that I just directed, and we talked about that again and said, but we still need to do something in our dialect.
Yeah. That would be, but that's amazing, because it then also opens up a different sort of world for other people, coming and listening or coming to see theater like that. I think you should carry on with that. Yeah.
Maybe I will. Yeah.
But So now with the directing, is this the path for you? Do you find that you which side do you think is better for you? Do you like the acting more or the directing more? Have you made up your mind about that?
Wow, that's a very good question. It's I if someone was to ask me, what are you, an actress or director? I would say I am an actress. Okay. An actress more than anything else. This is, I feel, this is what I'm here to do. It fills me with the utmost delight. I love it so much. Yes, but I want to do other things as well. But I am an actress.
First of all, yeah. And the experience that you had, say, in Scotland, for example, and because it's also culturally different, Scotland compared to Vienna, the culture is completely different, and you also probably had to do with other people as well. Do you find that as an actress, how that's important, that you go out of your environment and get into, get to meet other people, other cultures, that you're not necessarily, like you say, you're not necessarily going to act in English, but that you have that experience?
Yes, I think it's going to Scotland for me was the best decision I ever made, because it's also like a big part of an actor's job, I think, is to always step outside of your comfort zone as much as possible. In Scotland, I found I got to know myself on an even deeper level because I was a stranger there. Yeah. And I think when you're in situations where you don't have a safety net, or where you are, you feel maybe alone, or you learn who you are much faster, I find. And as an actor, you need to know yourself. As an actor, you really need to find out who you are in many, many different situations to be able to portray it in the end, if needed. Yeah.
That's true. It's true that you do in situations like that, where you're isolated or when you're away from your comfort zone, that you really understand who you are.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's a reason why I also do this project is that I want to raise awareness also how important art is, and how important it is also for children to be able to express themselves through art. Do you think enough is done in schools, that in acting, for example, is something that is also very much in children? I think children also can express themselves very easily in situations where they have to act something out, and we do role play as children as well. How important do you think that this should be part of, say, a curriculum in school?
It's so important. I can't stress that enough. My son goes to a Waldorf school. We chose, it's a Steiner school, where art, also being creative and expressing yourself creatively, is of the highest priority. And I do, yes, absolutely. As you say, children get to know the world through role play. They get to know themselves and other people through. It's the healthiest way to do it. But not just acting, also dance. I find is very. It's so important. We have gym classes at school. We learn how to do a roly-poly and a handstand, and to run very fast and play football. But I think dance and expressing yourself through music would it would be so amazing. Just one class a week of dancing, or in general performance art, including dance. That it would be wonderful.
Well, you say one class a week, but I'm thinking, why is it if you sing? listened to a research that was done on music, the effect of music on the brain, and how all the different parts of the brain are really active when a person plays a musical instrument. And I'm thinking, why, if all these research is out there, why are the schools not putting in all the art subjects as a priority, and make it that children have that in the curriculum? So it would be wonderful if children get that opportunity, I think.
Absolutely. And as you say, with music, Austria is a country, one of the few countries actually in Europe that actually has music schools where children can go to learn instruments, and it's funded by the government. And that's wonderful, but there are also not enough of those. There are not enough spaces for children to learn. I find that it's kind of more for the elite who can afford, for the rich people who can afford to have children learn the instruments or go to regular dance classes or theater classes. And you're right, I think it should be available to every child at a very low cost or sponsored by the public. I think that would be very good for society in the end.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So whenever you have an idea, let me know. I'm 100% with that. No, I do believe that and I think the pandemic highlighted the fact that art is so much part of our lives that it's important that children get that opportunity.
Yes.
But now, Maria, tell me, what are still the wishes for you for the future? What's coming up?
Well, I like wishes in general, or professional wishes, or anything.
Any wishes. It's the place here to say them.
Yes. Well, because you mentioned the pandemic.
Yeah.
And, do you remember those 2 summers where no one was allowed to travel, or it was really difficult? And I during that time, I missed going to the sea and to get out of Austria and to go to an ocean and just spend hours and hours looking at the sea. And I developed this immense desire to have a house in the Mediterranean at some point.
Really?
To go there. Yes.
Yeah.
And to go there and do workshops in a big house and invite lots of people. And that's like to have a summer refuge somehow. I would love that very much. And also the biggest desires I wrote a film script. It's the story of my grandfather. Yes. And I would love to be able to produce this film. It can be in 10 years, whatever, but I would love that story of my grandfather to be shown on the big screen. That's also a big desire I have.
Fingers crossed for you. Oh, thumbs, hold thumbs. In Austria, you hold thumbs, isn't it? In England, they cross fingers.
That's right.
But that would be so amazing, because then you've done it all. Then you've done the stage directing, you've done a film, and you've done acting. It would be amazing.
It would be, it would be wonderful.
Well, Maria, so far everything you set out to do, you did. So I'm sure the film we'll speak about the film in a few years' time.
Yes.
You will let me know. Yeah.
I will let you know. That would be so wonderful. Yeah. That would be amazing.
Yeah. But Maria, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for telling your story. It's very inspirational. I'm very happy that that you took the time to tell me. And yeah, you'll have to keep me posted when this film is released, that we talk about that as well. And all the best for all the next projects you're doing.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me do
this interview. It's a great pleasure. Okay, Maria, have a lovely afternoon.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.